relates to the formal education or transition for our children, as Jeff said, no promises have been made. But we're in the situation that our children have found themselves in is we're blessed that both of our parents are still alive. And they've had a chance, because we're in Holland and they're in Holland, to observe. And they saw us interact with our parents. And they had natural questions that they asked and that would come up. There's I don't know, osmosis isn't probably the right term, but there's a lot that they just pick up. So they've been somewhat in a natural training ground of being somewhat auditing, somewhat of an entrepreneurial background, and hearing how things were going. They're aware of some of the situations that can arise without prescribing names. Interestingly, we also had our kids go to schools where leadership was valued and taught, and so they also were able to get some of their training at a younger age and those sorts of experiences from a different group of people as well. So they've had a different, has been formalized. I guess a lot of it is just more of intuitive, I would say, on their part.
To what degree I'll just throw it out for anybody to take and run with, but what kinds of outside resources have you found particularly helpful in dealing with your family business challenges? Any particular? Chelsea?
For me, as a next generation family member who's looking to hopefully ascend to a leadership role in the company, the FBA has been an outstanding resource. They have a next generation peer group program where you get matched up with a group of, my group is probably 7 or 8 people off the top of my head. And we meet once a month, and I see a couple of them here this month. So it's just a great resource to be able to come together and take what can be kind of a lonely experience and make it a collaborative experience. To learn that you're not the only one in this boat, and other people have learned the same lessons that you're trying to learn, and if you can learn just one lesson through someone else's experience, then it's worth it. So it's become quite a group of people in my life who, we've already gone through some big family moments, and we're becoming great friends outside of having this kind of business focus.
I would say that we have a number of good advisors in this room today that have helped us along, and other advisors, and a number of them intentionally not local, so that we don't just get consumed in what it's like to be in Holland, because we do have operations elsewhere. As we mentioned, we have an employee stock ownership plan, so we're surrounded by a whole different group of people who our business has because of an ESOP, we have a business evaluation done every year by people who come in, and so you start learning and getting exposed to a whole lot of different things. What are outsiders looking at in your business that help drive the valuation up for your employees? So we have that good team here with our bankers, our lawyers, and of course our financial accounting team is, many of them are here today, have been extremely helpful. But it was many years ago that we tried to emulate somewhat what big businesses did by helping bring in advisors from the outside to help us get different perspectives. And so sometimes I think not having just only the local flavor has been very helpful for us as well.
One of the factors that the research in family businesses indicate is highly correlated to successful family businesses and successful transitions of ownership is having an outside board of directors or an outside advisory board of directors. And Leslie, I know you have an outside advisory board, I think. I don't think it's a statutory fiduciary board, but you do have an outside board. And you've recently done some reconfiguration of that and how you're using it. Can you comment a little bit on your board? How big it is, where you found advisors, how you're using them, how it's impacting your business and your family?
Sure, let's see. Well, I think my position being the widow involved in a family business made me more aware of the need to have an outside board. So we had a board when my husband was alive, but my desire was to strengthen that and give me more outside perspective and give me a certain degree of strength and knowledge. So it took me a good number of years. I spent a long time talking to other respected community members, other family-owned businesses, other people that I knew who had served at the top levels of corporations in Holland and outside Holland, but mostly in Holland. And I spent a lot of time talking to people and asking them about board members and about what they did or didn't do. And in time, I had a large list, a pretty large list. I'd say there were maybe 12 people on it. And that list got refined by a dear friend of mine, Candace Dugan, who's in the room today, and she helped me with some additional names and kind of sorted through I think there are 8 people on the board, and we sorted through them trying to get people with a financial background, a manufacturing background, an international background. Those are the 3 biggest things that I think I was looking for. And to my surprise, every one of them, when I talked to them, invited them in and told them I was interested in building a board of directors, every one of them said yes. And that was a kind of a seminal moment for me to realize that there are great people around who want to see family businesses survive and thrive. And their advice with me quarterly, their advice has been phenomenal. It does not by any means replace a very strong executive team, but it is a great outside listening board. So that has been a great piece. And I also just want to emphasize that the tragedy in our family brought some of these things forward in a way that maybe other family businesses don't think of. So I think including our development plan for my son and daughter, that tragedy really did make me think in a different way than I might have prior to that.
I'm going to hand it over to my brother in a second because 4 days a year, he's the chairman of the board and I report to him. And as he says, I remember how you treat me the other 251 days. But Judd will talk a little bit about that, but I think for what's a little bit different for us again is that we have, because of our ESOP and our number of outside advisors, we feel we're kind of get those interactions in a lot of different ways, but I'll turn it to Judd.
If a family business person came to me and asked whether they should have an inside board or an outside board, my recommendation would be an outside board. We don't have one. We have met in 2 all-day meetings with our accountants on taxation and valuation issues in the last 2 months. Tom is the past president of the Employers Association, which we use to establish internal and external equity to determine pay, including our own. We work very closely with lawyers, a boutique IP firm down in Cincinnati, and our counsel out of Grand Rapids at Law Leathers. We have an ESOP law firm in Minneapolis because that is a fiduciary responsibility that we take very, very seriously. The annual valuation, as Tom says, we also are part of a consortium that owns our insurance company, and that allows us to benchmark performance in other areas of our business. How are they doing? I think we're exceptional. I don't know that I would pass that recommendation on if the business did go another generation, but it works for us.
I think kind of alluded to the answer to this in some of your other comments, but could each of your families talk a little bit about whether you consider yourself a family-first business or a business-first family?
We're very definitely a business-first family.
Did that evolve, or was that a conscious choice, do you think?
It was so clearly our fathers and grandfathers' philosophy that I think I've been at the company 10 years before I realized there was an option. I guess there are a lot of people who look at a business, and it's a very legitimate perspective to say, I'm the investor, I'm the employee, what's in it for me? But our approach has been to pay ourselves as employees according to those employer association and outside consultants' valuations of our wages, and to put the business first. And when you do that, as lousy as the last few years were, you make it through a period like that and your company is still strong. In fact, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, but I know we're stronger today than we were going into that bad experience. So, I think depending on what your vision is, you pick the answer to that question.
From a business first, family first, I think Judd answered it exactly right. However, when we say the family first, for us, we look out and say, we've got sons that are affiliated with the business, but there are other families in our business that have, that are not last name of Bradford, but identify with Bradford as being their business. We've got mother, daughters, we've got a number of brothers. We feel the best compliment we can get is when a parent wants to bring their child in, and we've got a number of paired child. I've got friends that go back to my mom's Cub Scout group, and their children are working in our business. So the business, they're not hired out of, they're hired because they can do the job and can take us to, they want, like Wayne Gretzky, it's not where we've been, it's where we need to go to. And that's why we hire these people, to help get us to where we have to go to next. But it certainly is, I think, a testament to the environment that they would like their family members to work there. So.
Chelsea?
I remember very distinctly my father-in-law early on saying to my husband when his brother came into the business, could you fire your brother if you needed to? And that's always stuck with me because it's a real question in a family business. And I have the same feeling, could I fire my children if I needed to? But I think it's a real question, and I think that that integrity of a family business speaks to that. You have to be able to do that if you need to. And when I said I have a development plan for my children, there isn't a guarantee at the end of that. There's an evaluation at the end of that, but I'm giving them every opportunity I can to have them learn. And just to comment on what the Bradford said, we're a family business, but we think of our employees as family too. We have many, many combinations of family members working there that are not brown, don't have